Honey is a sugary substance of viscous consistency, which is obtained from the processing of flower nectar or other plant secretions by some hymenopteran insects. The best known is undoubtedly the honeybee. Thanks to a series of enzymes present in their saliva, the nectar collected by bees is partially digested inside their body, transformed and deposited in the cells that make up the honeycombs of the hive. Here, it will mature further until it becomes the honey we know. It is a food consumed and appreciated all over the world, not only for its sweet flavor, but also for its numerous beneficial health properties. But what are they? Let's go see them. Cardioprotective effects. Cardiovascular diseases represent the leading cause of death worldwide, with an estimated 18 million victims each year. There is currently some scientific evidence that suggests that honey has a cardioprotective action against cardiovascular diseases, as it positively influences the risk factors linked to the development of heart disease. Honey protects the heart by improving the lipid profile in the blood, reducing blood pressure and specific markers of myocardial damage, as well as regulating heartbeat and attenuating cell death. According to a study conducted by researchers at the University of Toronto and published in the journal Nutrition Reviews, moderate and regular consumption of honey lowered fasting blood sugar, total cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, while raising the levels of good cholesterol, important for keeping the arteries clean and protecting the heart. The benefits reported in the study just mentioned were found in participants after an average honey intake of 40 grams, about 2 tablespoons, for a period of at least 8 weeks. The authors of the study therefore recommend replacing free sugars added in the diet with honey, although further studies will be necessary to confirm the benefits just described. Anti-tumor effects. Honey is an important source of bioactive compounds, and in recent years there has been growing interest in its potential anticancer properties. It has in fact been tested on different types of tissues and tumor cell lines, and some mechanisms responsible for its tumor activity have been suggested, and in particular thanks to its antioxidant properties. This is because honey is a food rich in flavonoids and phenolic acids, secondary plant metabolites, that are transferred into honey during the harvesting process by bees. Among the flavonoids most found in the various honey samples analyzed, we find apigenin, quercetin, and kaempferol, while among the phenolic compounds, we find caffeic acid and gallic acid. Other possible mechanisms responsible for the anti-tumor activity of the substances contained in honey are linked to its apoptotic and anti-proliferative effects. In simpler words, honey affects cell cycle arrest and can induce apoptosis in various types of tumor cells, a process of programmed cell death which helps limit their ability to grow and therefore tumor proliferation. Not only that, the substances contained in honey act as an inhibitor of tumor necrosis factor, a cytokine belonging to the immune system that comes into play during the body's inflammatory processes and which has been shown to participate in the 3 phases of the carcinogenesis process. Overall, therefore, the evidence from cell cultures and animal studies seems promising for honey in terms of chemoprevention, as well as an adjunctive therapy to anticancer drugs. Antibiotic and antibacterial properties. Honey has been used both as a food and as a medicine since ancient times, representing a precious resource due to its numerous beneficial properties. The ancient Egyptians already used it for mummification, together with a mixture of botanical resins and animal fat, as well as representing a travel companion in the afterlife, as it was preserved in special vases placed in the tombs of the pharaohs. Honey has antibacterial properties, and following some clinical and laboratory investigations by various research groups, it was discovered that it has an inhibitory effect on approximately 60 species of bacteria, both aerobic and anaerobic, including Salmonella, Shigella, and Escherichia coli, but also on some species of fungi and viruses. The antibacterial activity is mainly linked to 4 properties of honey. Thanks to its acidic pH, between 3 and 4, the high concentration of sugars combined with the low water content, and its hygroscopic capacity, that is to absorb humidity from the surrounding environment, it prevents the growth and proliferation of most microorganisms. Finally, most honeys contain enzymes that produce hydrogen peroxide, a powerful antimicrobial agent, also known as oxygenated water, used as an antiseptic in the treatment of wounds and lesions. Honey has also been shown to have anti-inflammatory activity and stimulate immune responses within a wound. Its gelatinous consistency creates a superficial layer on the wound that inhibits the entry of bacteria, protecting it from dehydration, and thus accelerating the healing capacity. A study conducted on some Italian honey by researchers at Sapienza University in Rome has shown that some of them are able to effectively counteract the action of bacteria resistant to antibiotics. This is a natural adaptation phenomenon with which some microorganisms acquire the ability to survive and proliferate despite the action of the antibiotic. In this case, honey could represent a valid alternative, precisely because bacteria have not learned to develop resistance to this sugary substance. Other effects of honey. There are over 200 bioactive substances that naturally make up honey, including sugars, amino acids, enzymes, vitamins, and minerals, responsible for its numerous beneficial properties. In addition to those we have seen so far, the oral administration of honey is effective for treating and protecting the body from some conditions of the gastrointestinal tract, such as gastritis, duodenitis, and gastric ulcers caused by bacteria and some viruses. Furthermore, some scientific studies have demonstrated the effectiveness of honey in the prevention and management of digestive disorders and some intestinal diseases, as it has proven to be a precious ally of the intestinal microbiota. This is because, while on the one hand it supports and promotes the growth of some probiotic species, on the other it exerts an antimicrobial action against some pathogenic bacteria and other intestinal microbes. Honey has also been found to be useful and often more effective than traditional treatments in improving the symptoms of upper respiratory tract infections. This is because its viscous consistency and its sugar concentration stimulates salivation and the secretion of mucus by the respiratory tract, thus forming a natural protective layer on the mucous membranes of the mouth and throat. Honey thus exerts a sedative and emollient effect on the upper respiratory tract, carrying out a decongestant and calming action on coughs, particularly productive coughs, which are often also associated with sore throats. It is therefore one of the most widespread natural and home remedies, and according to a systematic review conducted by researchers at the University of Oxford, honey was found to be superior to traditional treatments for improving the symptoms of upper respiratory tract infections, and in particular, it has improved the frequency and severity of cough. The study concludes that honey therefore represents an effective, widely available, and economical alternative to antibiotics, but above all a worthy substitute for traditional syrups. It is important to always contact your doctor or a specialist, always following his instructions, as each bacterial infection requires specific treatment. It is good to remember, however, that honey is still a food rich in sugars, present mainly in the form of fructose and glucose, so it is necessary to consume it in moderation. In fact, the dose recommended by experts is around 1 or 2 teaspoons per day. In conclusion, we have seen that honey is a natural food with countless beneficial properties for health, as well as a delight for the taste buds thanks to its sweet and delicate flavor and floral notes. However, the composition, properties, and flavor of honey can vary considerably depending on the type of flower from which the nectar comes, as well as the geographical origin, but also the environmental, seasonal, and processing conditions to which the honey is subjected during the various production phases.